Welcome to Bedtime English Buddies. Tonight we're excited to share the story of the Golden Snowflake, a Christmas adventure. Chapter 1. A Missing Star. Snowy village sparkled under a blanket of fresh snow. The rooftops of cozy cottages were capped with white, and smoke curled from chimneys into the crisp blue sky. Children laughed as they built snowmen, while parents hung twinkling lights on trees. The smell of warm cinnamon and fresh-baked cookies drifted through the air, making everyone feel the magic of Christmas. Amy, Max, and Sarah were best friends who lived on the same street. They loved this time of year. Every December, the village gathered to celebrate Christmas by lighting a giant star on the tallest tree in the square. The star wasn't just any decoration. It symbolized hope and happiness for everyone in Snowy Village. "Do you think the star will look even brighter this year?" asked Sarah as she wrapped her scarf tighter against the cold. Her cheeks were pink, and her breath puffed in little clouds. "I bet it will," Max said, adjusting his woolen hat. "I heard the mayor added special sparkles to it." "Let's go check it out," said Amy, her eyes shining with excitement. She was always the most curious of the three. The trio ran to the town square, where villagers were busy decorating the tall Christmas tree. Ornaments of every color hung from its branches, and garlands of silver and gold wrapped around its sturdy trunk. But as they approached, something felt wrong. Mayor Henson stood at the base of the tree, scratching his head. His glasses were perched on the tip of his nose, and he looked worried. Oh dear, he muttered. "What's wrong, Mr. Mayor?" Amy asked, tilting her head. The mayor sighed. "The Christmas star is missing. We hung it up last night, and now it's gone." "Gone?" Sarah gasped. "But how?" "No one knows," said the mayor. "I came early this morning to make sure everything was ready, but the star wasn't there. Without it, our Christmas celebration won't feel the same." A crowd of villagers gathered, whispering among themselves. "Who could have taken the star?" one woman asked. "Was it stolen?" another man wondered. Amy looked at her friends. "We have to do something," she said firmly. "We can't let Christmas be ruined." "But how do we find a missing star?" Max asked, scratching his head. "We start by looking for clues," Amy replied. "Come on." The three friends searched the square carefully. They looked under bushes, behind benches, and even up in the tree branches. Suddenly, Max noticed something shiny on the ground near the edge of the square. "Look," he said, pointing. A faint trail of golden sparkles shimmered in the snow. "What is that?" Sarah asked, leaning closer. "It looks like a trail," Amy exclaimed. "Maybe it's from the star." The mayor overheard them and walked over. "If anyone can find that star, it's you three," he said, smiling. "Good luck and be careful." Amy, Max, and Sarah nodded. "Don't worry, Mr. Mayor," Max said confidently. "We'll bring it back." The golden trail led them out of the square and toward the edge of the village. Snow crunched under their boots as they followed it into the forest. The trees stood tall and silent, their branches heavy with snow. The air felt colder, but the friends didn't stop. "I hope we're going the right way," Sarah said, shivering. "We are," Amy said, her voice full of determination. "The star is out there and we're going to find it." As they ventured deeper into the woods, the trail of sparkles seemed to glow brighter. The adventure had begun. Chapter 2. The Sparkling Trail. The forest felt alive with mystery as the friends followed the golden trail. The faint sparkles stood out against the white snow, guiding them deeper into the woods. The sunlight filtered through the trees, casting long shadows that danced with the wind. "This trail is so strange," Sarah said, brushing a branch aside. "It's like it's leading us somewhere. I just hope it's not a wild goose chase," Max muttered, glancing over his shoulder. The woods were quiet. Too quiet. Even the usual chirping of birds was absent. Amy walked ahead, her boots crunching on the snow. "We can't give up now. The trail must mean something." As they moved further, the forest thickened. Trees stood closer together, their branches weaving a roof above. The golden sparkles glimmered brighter, and soon, the friends reached a small clearing. In the center stood a mysterious object, a glowing glass bottle. Inside, tiny golden sparkles swirled like a snowstorm. "What is that?" Sarah whispered, her eyes wide. Max stepped closer, his curiosity outweighing his caution. "It looks like magic," he said, reaching out. "Wait," Amy said sharply, stopping him. What if it's dangerous, but it's part of the trail? Max argued. Maybe it's a clue. Carefully, he picked up the bottle. It was warm to the touch, and the sparkles inside began to swirl faster. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed through the clearing. Who dares disturb my forest? The friends froze. From behind a tree stepped a small furry creature. It was a fox, but not an ordinary one. Its fur shimmered like silver, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. We didn't mean to disturb anything, Amy said quickly. We're just trying to find the missing Christmas star. The fox tilted its head. The star, you say? That's a bold quest for such young adventurers. We have to find it, Sarah said. The whole village is counting on us. The fox stared at them for a moment, then nodded. Very well. You're on the right path. That bottle contains a bit of the star's magic. It will guide you, but beware. Many challenges lie ahead. Challenges? Max gulped. Like what? You'll see, the fox said cryptically. Then, with a flick of its tail, it vanished into the trees. The friends exchanged nervous glances. Well, Amy said, holding the bottle, we have no choice. Let's keep going. As they left the clearing, the golden sparkles began to pour from the bottle, forming a new trail. The adventure was far from over. Chapter 3. A chilly encounter. The golden trail led the friends deeper into the forest. The air grew colder, and the snow became thicker underfoot. The bottle glowed softly in Amy's hand, lighting their way. Do you think the fox was telling the truth? Max asked, shivering. What if this trail leads to something dangerous? We'll handle it, Amy said firmly. We have to. Suddenly, the trail stopped. Before them was a frozen river, its surface glinting like a sheet of glass. The bottle's light dimmed, as if uncertain. How do we cross? Sarah asked, peering at the slippery ice. We'll have to walk carefully, Amy said. There's no other way. One by one, they stepped onto the ice. It was cold and slick, and their boots slid with every step. Halfway across, a loud crack echoed through the air. Did you hear that? Max whispered, his voice trembling. Before anyone could answer, the ice split beneath them. A jagged crack snaked toward Amy, who froze in fear. Move, Sarah shouted. Amy jumped just in time, landing safely on a thicker patch of ice. But the crack grew larger, and the river seemed ready to swallow them whole. Hold on, Max cried. Grabbing a branch from the riverbank, he reached out to Amy and Sarah, pulling them to safety one by one. Breathless and shaken, the friends sat on the snowy bank. That was too close, Sarah said, hugging herself for warmth. Amy looked at the bottle, which was glowing faintly again. We can't stop now. The star needs us. With renewed determination, they stood and continued their journey. Chapter 4. The Snow Troll. The forest opened into a wide clearing, where the trail stopped abruptly. The bottle's glow intensified, and a deep rumble shook the ground. What was that? Sarah whispered, clutching Amy's arm. From behind a boulder emerged a massive creature, a snow troll. It was covered in white fur, with icy blue eyes and a gruff expression. In its hand was a large club, made of frozen wood. Who dares enter my domain? The troll growled, its voice like thunder. We're looking for the Christmas star, Amy said bravely. Have you seen it? The troll laughed, a deep booming sound. The star? You'll have to earn it. Solve my riddle, or leave empty-handed. Riddle? Max said nervously. We're not good at riddles. Let's try, Amy said, stepping forward. What's the riddle? The troll grinned. I am not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? The friends huddled together whispering, not alive but can grow. Sarah repeated. What could that be? Fire, Amy said suddenly. It's fire. The troll's grin faded. You are correct, it said grudgingly. You may pass, but beware. The hardest part of your journey lies ahead. The troll stepped aside, and the golden trail reappeared. The friends continued on, their hearts pounding. Chapter 5. The Enchanted Maze. The golden trail led the friends to the edge of a mysterious, sprawling maze made entirely of tall, icy hedges. The bottle in Amy's hand glowed brighter as if signaling this was the next challenge. A maze? How are we supposed to get through that? Max asked, staring at the twisting paths ahead. We just have to stay calm and follow the trail, Amy said, though her voice betrayed her uncertainty. The maze was eerily silent. The air was colder here, and the towering icy walls reflected their nervous faces as they entered. Every step seemed to echo, heightening the tension. As they turned the first corner, they were met with a fork in the path. The golden sparkles divided into two trails, both disappearing into the icy distance. Which way now? Sarah asked, her breath visible in the chilly air. Let's stick together and pick one, Amy suggested. They chose the left path, but after a few minutes of walking, they found themselves back at the entrance. It's a loop, Max groaned. We're going in circles. Wait, Amy said, inspecting the bottle. The sparkles inside swirled in a particular direction. The bottle is pointing right. Let's follow it closely. They returned to the fork and took the right path this time, keeping an eye on the swirling sparkles. The maze twisted and turned, and at each intersection, the bottle guided them. Halfway through, a low growl echoed through the maze. What was that? Sarah whispered, clutching Max's arm. From the shadows emerged a pack of spectral wolves, their bodies made of mist and glowing blue light. Their eyes gleamed as they surrounded the friends. We're trapped, Max shouted, backing against a wall. Not yet, Amy said, gripping the bottle tightly. She held it high, and the golden light burst forth, scattering the spectral wolves. They dissolved into the air, their howls fading. That was close, Sarah said, her heart racing. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached the center of the maze. In the middle stood a pedestal with a small golden key resting on top. This must be important, Amy said, picking up the key. As soon as she did, the icy hedges melted away, and the maze disappeared. The golden trail reappeared, leading them forward. Chapter 6. The Whispering Cave. The next part of the journey brought the friends to the entrance of a dark cave. The golden trail disappeared into its depths, leaving the friends hesitant. Do we have to go in there? Max asked, staring at the ominous opening. The star could be inside, Amy said. We've come too far to stop now. The cave was cold and damp. Stalactites hung from the ceiling, and water dripped rhythmically onto the stone floor. The bottle's glow was their only source of light as they ventured deeper. Whispers began to fill the air. At first, they were faint, like the rustling of leaves, but soon they grew louder. Turn back, a voice hissed. You'll never make it, another taunted. Who's there? Sarah called, her voice trembling. The whispers didn't answer but continued to swirl around them. Amy held the bottle tightly, and its glow intensified, pushing the whispers back. They're trying to scare us, Amy said. We can't let them. At the heart of the cave, they found an ancient stone door engraved with intricate patterns. There was a keyhole in the center. Do you think this is what the key is for? Max asked. Only one way to find out, Amy said, inserting the golden key. The door creaked open, revealing a small chamber filled with shimmering light. In the center floated a fragment of the Christmas star, glowing faintly. We did it, Sarah exclaimed, reaching for the fragment. But as she touched it, the whispers turned into a deafening roar, and the chamber began to shake. Run, Amy shouted, grabbing the fragment and the bottle. The friends raced out of the cave as it collapsed behind them. Once outside, they collapsed onto the snow, gasping for breath. We have part of the star, Amy said, holding up the fragment. But there's still more to find. The bottle glowed brightly, signaling the next phase of their journey. Chapter 7. The Golden Snowflake. Amy and her friends were now on a mission to find the legendary Golden Snowflake. It was said to have magical powers that could save the Christmas star and restore light to the village. They had the map given to them by Tink, but the journey wasn't easy. The group began their trek into the enchanted forest, where the Golden Snowflake was said to be hidden. The forest was alive with glowing plants, whispering trees, and shimmering snow. As they walked, Amy felt a sense of wonder but also a hint of fear. "We have to stick together," said Benji, holding the lantern. "This forest can be tricky." Along the way, they encountered various challenges. First, a frozen river blocked their path. Clara came up with the idea to use large branches to create a bridge. Everyone worked together, and soon they were able to cross safely. Next, they faced a riddle at the base of an ancient oak tree. A talking owl perched on a branch above them and said, "To find the golden snowflake, answer this. What is something you can give but never take back?" The friends looked at each other, puzzled. After a moment of silence, Amy's face lit up. "I think it's a kind word or love. Once you give it, it stays with someone forever." The owl nodded and flapped its wings. "You're wise for your age. Go on. The path is clear." Finally, they reached a glowing cave deep in the heart of the forest. Inside, the walls sparkled with golden light, and in the center was a pedestal. Resting on it was the golden snowflake, radiating warmth and magic. Just as Amy reached out to take it, a shadowy figure appeared. It was Frostbite, the mischievous winter spirit. "If you want the snowflake, you'll have to prove you're worthy," he sneered. Frostbite conjured a storm and the group had to act quickly. Clara sang a calming song. Benji lit the lantern to guide them through the swirling snow, and Amy held tightly to the snowflake, feeling its warmth push back the cold. Together they overcame the challenge, and Frostbite, impressed by their teamwork, let them leave with the golden snowflake. As they exited the forest, the snowflake glowed even brighter, signaling that it was ready to fulfill its purpose. Chapter 8: Saving the Christmas Star. With the golden snowflake in their possession, the group returned to the village square. The once bright star atop the Christmas tree was now dim and flickering. Villagers gathered around, looking worried. Amy stepped forward, holding the glowing snowflake. "Do you think it will work?" Clara whispered. "It has to," Amy replied. As they approached the tree, an old woman who was the keeper of the star stepped forward. "The star's light depends on the love and unity of the village," she said. "Place the snowflake at its heart." Amy climbed the ladder with Benji holding it steady. When she reached the top, she carefully placed the golden snowflake in the center of the star. At first, nothing happened. Then, a soft glow began to spread from the snowflake, growing brighter and warmer. Suddenly, the entire tree lit up with dazzling light, and the star shone brighter than ever before. The villagers cheered, and a wave of joy spread through the crowd. The light of the star not only illuminated the village, but also seemed to warm everyone's hearts. It was a magical moment, and Amy felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Frostbite appeared again, but this time he looked different, less shadowy, and more like a playful winter sprite. "You've done well," he said. "The snowflake chose wisely. Merry Christmas." With a wink, he disappeared into the snow. The friends celebrated with the villagers, enjoying hot cocoa, carols, and the twinkling lights. But their adventure wasn't over yet. Chapter 9: The Final Test. Just when Amy thought everything was perfect, the old woman approached her with a serious expression. "The golden snowflake has restored the star, but its magic must be sealed with one final act of kindness," she explained. "What do we need to do?" Amy asked. The woman handed her a small empty box. "This box must be filled with a gift from the heart. Only then will the magic be complete." Amy and her friends spent the evening thinking about what to put in the box. Clara suggested her music sheet, Benji offered his lantern, and Amy thought about her family's tradition of sharing stories. In the end, Amy decided to place a small hand-carved star her father had given her years ago. "This star has always reminded me of family and love," she said. As she placed the star in the box, it began to glow. The old woman smiled and placed the box under the Christmas tree. Suddenly, the entire village seemed to sparkle with magic. The snow danced in the air, the lights shone brighter, and the warmth of the season filled everyone's hearts. "Christmas isn't just about lights and presents," Amy said. "It's about friendship, family, and the joy of giving." The villagers nodded in agreement, and the celebration continued long into the night. Chapter 10: A Christmas to Remember. The next morning, the village awoke to a winter wonderland. The Christmas tree stood tall and bright, and the star shone even in the daylight. Amy, Clara, and Benji were hailed as heroes, but they humbly reminded everyone that it was teamwork that made everything possible. The friends spent the day delivering gifts and spreading cheer throughout the village. Even Frostbite joined in, playfully creating snowflakes that sparkled like diamonds. Amy's parents were proud of her bravery and kindness. "You've made this the best Christmas ever," her mother said, hugging her tightly. As the sun set, the friends gathered one last time under the glowing tree. "This has been the adventure of a lifetime," Clara said. "And it brought us closer than ever," Benji added. Amy looked at her friends and smiled. "No matter what happens, we'll always have this Christmas and the memories we've made together." With that, the friends made a promise to keep the spirit of Christmas alive in their hearts every day. As the star twinkled above them, they knew this was a Christmas they would never forget. This is the end of the story. Good night.